What's up, everyone? This is part 2 of episode 216 of the Idiotic Sports Talk. I'm your host, Liam Gavin, coming to you live from my bedroom. So let's get back to it. The Cowboys beat the Commanders 38-10. Dak Prescott, 279 passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 pick. CeeDee Lamb, 13 catches, 98 yards, and 2 scores. Tony Pollard, 70 rushing yards and a touchdown. As for Sam Howell, the Commanders, 153 passing, a touchdown, and 2 picks. Brian Robinson had a receiving touchdown and a fumble. So the Cowboys sweep their division rival. They finished 12-5 on the season. This is their third straight season. They finished 12-5. They clinched the 2 seed in the NFC playoffs, and they won the NFC East. Their offense, 440 total yards, 131 rushing, 6 of 10 on third down, and 34 first downs, while the Commanders only had 12. Their defense, 4 sacks, 2 picks, 1 fumble, and they stopped the run. They allowed less than 210 yards for less than 210 total yards for just 10 points. And they outscored the Commanders 84-20 this season. And it felt good to see the run game, defense, and a road win before the playoffs started. As for the Commanders, absolutely miserable performance. 207 total, 50 rushing yards, 2 of 10 on third down with 3 turnovers. And the defense was just as bad. An interception, no sacks, gave up 440 yards. They fired their head coach, Ron Rivera, on Monday, which was a day after his birthday. A lot of madness this season. They traded their best players on defense and fired their D coordinator halfway through the season. They lost their last 10 of 11 games. They had a 3-3 record, but finished 4-13. The last place in the NFC East. Were on an 8-game losing streak, but they have the second overall pick in the 2024 draft. So it's curious to see who they take. Are they going to go with the QB? Do they trust Sam Howell or not? I don't know. We'll find out. Next, the Raiders beat the Broncos 27-14. The rookie Aiden O'Connell, 244 passing, a touchdown, no picks. Jacoby Myers with a rushing and receiving touchdown. Devontae Adams with a touchdown catch. And Zamir White with 112 on the ground. As for Jared Stidham, 272 passing, a touchdown, a pick. Javonte Williams with a rushing score, and Jerry Jeudy with a touchdown catch. So the Raiders finished 8-9 after sweeping their division rival on the season. They're second in the AFC West. Their offense, 373 total yards, 129 passing, 7 of 13 on third down, and no turnovers. Their defense had 5 sacks, 1 pick. They were very stout against the run. The Raiders' drama this season was nuts. They benched Jimmy G. They fired their former head coach, Josh McDaniels, but they found a diamond in the rough. The interim head coach, Antonio Pierce, who finished 5-4 on the season as the coach, and he has his team supporting him to the fullest. The Raiders better make him a head coach. They made this mistake 2 years ago when they fired their interim head coach, Rich Bisaccia, who turned their season around and brought them to the playoffs. They can't afford to do this again. But as for the Broncos, 320 total yards, 4 of 12 on third down. Awful run game, just 48 yards rushing. Their defense had 3 sacks, no turnovers, and couldn't stop the run. And what a roller coaster of the season. It's over for the Broncos, 8-9. They finished 8-9 and third in the AFC West. They started 1-5. They caught on fire to go 7-6 with playoff hopes, and then they ended 8-9 and missed the playoffs. Russell Wilson getting benched was probably the weirdest part of the season because it wasn't his fault. It just was very weird to see Sean Payton bench him. I know they had some arguments on the sideline, but so what? It's football. I mean, he was your best player on the team, but they plan on getting rid of him. And I just guess that Russell Wilson wasn't Sean Payton's type of style of quarterback. So we'll see what the Broncos are going to do moving forward from here. Next, the Giants beat the Eagles 27-10. Tyrod Taylor, 297 passing, a touchdown, a pick. Saquon Barkley with 2 rushing scores. Darius Slayton with a touchdown catch. As for Jalen Hurts, 55 passing yards, no touchdowns, a pick, and he also hurt his hand. Marcus Mariota, 148 passing, a touchdown, and a pick. Quez Watkins, 8 catches, 93 yards, and a score. So the Giants split the division series against their rival. They finished 6-11 on the season. They had 420 total yards plus 109 on the ground. The defense, 5 sacks, 2 interceptions, and 2 fumbles. And thank you, Giants, for beating the Eagles. Pretty much helped the Cowboys out, even though they didn't really need it. It just secured them that much more. The Giants wrap up a disappointing season. They finished third in the NFC East. I know Daniel Jones was injured. The rookie Tommy DeVito was bursting onto the scene, and they fired their defensive coordinator, Wink Martindale, this past Wednesday. And it was a promising season that resulted in failure. Last year they made the playoffs. They won a playoff game, so there was a lot of hope for them, and they just fell flat on their face. As for the Eagles, they lost their last 5 of 6 games. with just a very miserable performance. The offense, 336 total, 133 rushing, 5 and 11 on third down. Just very bad offensive line play. Jalen Hurts hurt his hand. A.J. Brown left with an injury to his knee. And the defense had 2 sacks, a pick, but they gave up 400-plus yards. They finished 11-6, second in the NFC East and fifth in NFC playoffs. And they choked the NFC East division away. They started 10-1 just to finish 11-6, and they gave the division to my Cowboys, basically. And there's a lot of locker room issues with A.J. Brown being the head of it, arguing with coaches, arguing with teammates, just not looking good in Philly. They did make the playoffs, but they enter with a lot of question marks surrounding that team, especially on the defense. Next, the Seahawks beat the Cardinals 21-20. Geno Smith, 189 passing, 2 touchdowns, no picks. Tyler Lockett with a touchdown catch, and tight end Will Dissly with a touchdown catch. As for Kyler Murray of the Cardinals, 262 passing, he had 2 touchdowns and no picks. James Conner, 150 rushing and a score. Tight end Trey McBride with a touchdown catch. So the Seahawks sweep their division rival on the year. They trailed 20-13 with 3 minutes to go, but they scored and got the 2-point conversion, which led to a win. The offense, 327 total, 138 rushing, 6-12 on third down. Very good offensive line play. And as for the defense, they got no turnovers, but they did get a sack. And despite finishing 9-8, they missed the playoffs and are third in the NFC West. It was a promising start for them. They were 6-3, but then they lost 4 straight games, which hurt them tremendously and which pretty much put a cap in their season. And you know what? They fired their head coach, Pete Carroll, on Wednesday, which was an end of an era, Super Bowl winning coach, just a great attitude, great guy. And, they're moving on from him, though. And, maybe sometimes it's good for a change of scenery. As for the Cardinals, they did everything right to win this game. They had 486 total yards. The run game went off for 206. They didn't turn the ball over, but they made a couple mistakes that cost them this game. So Matt Prater, he's pretty much automatic. He missed 2 field goals late in the fourth quarter that led to their demise. The defense had a sack, but no turnovers. The Cardinals end their brutal season 4-12 and 4th in the NFC West. No Kyler Murray to start the season. They used Josh Dobbs. They had a new head coach in Jonathan Gannon. However, they did beat 3 playoff teams out of those 4 wins. Next, the Rams beat the Niners 21-20. Carson Wentz, 163 passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick, 1 rushing score. The rookie Puka Nacua with a touchdown catch. And as for Sam Darnold, 189 passing, a touchdown, and no picks. He also had a rushing touchdown and a fumble. And Elijah Mitchell had a rushing score. So the Rams, without Matt Stafford, they beat their division rival to split the season series. They won 4 straight in their last 7 of 8 games. They finished 10-7, second in the NFC West, 6th seed in the NFC. They trailed 20-7 at halftime, but they scored. They got the 2-point conversion with 5 minutes left, and they took the lead that way. Carson Wentz was able to get the job done. Puka Nacua set the rookie receiving record, and the offense had 272 total yards, 109 rushing, 9-15 on third down. Defense had 3 sacks and a game-sealing fumble. The Rams were bad early this season, but they turned it around, and they're entering the playoffs red hot. As for the Niners, they sat all their starters, and Sam Darnold didn't do that bad. The offense, 314 total yards, 125 rushing, 5-10 on third down. The defense, 2 sacks and a pick, but they had some miscues. They missed an extra point. They also had 5 penalties for 78 yards, but the Niners locked up the number 1 seed in the NFC and were the first in the NFC West. Next, the Chiefs beat the Chargers 13-12. Blaine Gabbert, 154 passing, no touchdowns and a pick. McCole Hardman, 6 catches, 77 yards. And as for Easton Stick, 258 passing, no touchdowns, no picks. He had 77 rushing yards and a fumble. And Donald Parham, the tight end, 5 catches for 83 yards. So the Chiefs sweep their division rival. They finish 11-6 and first in the AFC West, 3rd seed in the AFC. And without Mahomes, the Chiefs win with a game-winning field goal. The offense, 277 total yards with 123 on the ground. They had no TDs, but they had solid kicking by Harrison Butker. Their defense had 3 sacks, a fumble 6. They only allowed just 12 points. And the Chiefs had plenty of issues this season. Drops, penalties, Taylor Swift going to the games. But, however, they are the defending Super Bowl champs. And whenever you enter the playoffs with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes, they always have a chance to win. They always do. You can never count them out. As for the Chargers, they had many opportunities to win. They had more yards than the Chiefs. They also had 22 first downs, while the Chiefs only had 12 first downs. But, that fumble 6 inside of the Chiefs' 5-yard line that was returned for 90-something yards, it really hurt them, and it set the tone early. The offense, 375 total, 118 rushing, but they were 7-19 on third down. The defense had a sack, a pick, but not much help from the offense. And the injury bug bites them again like it does every year. The QB, Justin Herbert. The receivers, Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, and the list just goes on and on. There was awful coaching, too. The coaching did not help, but at least Brandon Staley is fired, and they're just too talented to perform or to underperform every single season. It's like, what is it with these guys? They have a bunch of talent, and they just can't get it done, sadly. They lost their 5th straight game. They finished 5-12 on the season, and they were last in the AFC West. The final game, the Bills beat the Dolphins 21-14. Josh Allen, 359 passing, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, 1 fumble. Khalil Shakir, 6 catches for 105. Trent Sherfield with a touchdown catch, and Dawson Knox with a touchdown catch. As for Tua Tagovailoa, 173 passing, a touchdown, 2 picks. Tyreek Hill, 7 catches, 82 yards, and a touchdown. And the rookie Devon Achane with a rushing score. So the Bills win their 5th straight game. They sweep their division rival for the season, and they won the AFC East for the 4th straight time, for the 4th straight year. They have an 11-6 record, and the offense in this game, 487 total yards. They ran for 128, 9-15 on third down. They had 26 first downs, while the Dolphins had 16. And the time of possession, you're not going to believe this one. The Bills, they had 38 minutes, while the Dolphins had 21 minutes. Allen overcame 3 early turnovers to lead his team to a win. And the ricochet off the helmet for a touchdown, that was to Trent Sherfield, was absolutely nuts. And Justin Hardy, to set the tone to start the 4th quarter, was very clutch with a punt return, took it 90 yards to the house. And that was just the way the cookie crumbles for the Dolphins. As for the defense, a sack, 2 picks. They allowed less than 285 yards for just 12 points. And the Bills really turned it around. They were entering the playoffs very dangerous and will be a tough task for anyone in the AFC. As for the Dolphins, they collapsed down the stretch. Their offense, 281 total yards, 108 rushing, 4 of 10 on third down. And the defense had 3 sacks, 2 picks, a fumble, and folded down the stretch of this game as well. They had the AFC East on lock, but they choked it away. But to be fair, there were a lot of injuries, especially on the defensive side to some defensive studs like Jordan Phillips. They also had Jalen Waddle hurt, another explosive receiver. They do finish 11-6 on the season, 2nd in the AFC East and the 6th seed in the AFC playoffs. So that's it for the Week 18 recap. Let me know what your guys' favorite game was, least favorite game. Did your favorite team win? Did they take a loss? And let's just chit-chat about it. I love talking to everybody. I love getting different views and opinions on football. It's always a blessing to hear that. And don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow me below on my Instagram. Take care and enjoy your weekend.